Yeah, that's right. We got another episode. We are live. We got cardboard
Oh my God, he
conversation.
figured it out.
We've got Bob with
Oh my God!
video,
Can you hear
with
me?
audio. That's exactly it, Bob. We are all that excited to see
Now we
this.
can hear you, Bob. We can only see you now.
Yeah.
Tell me that. Tell me you're effing with me.
Yes, we are
Yeah.
just messing with you.
Okay,
And that's right.
I had to use Edge.
Bob's living on the edge, and so are you guys
Hell
for
yeah.
joining us here. So thank you adventurous folks, for coming along this evening on our Cardboard Odyssey. Hey, Matt, Bob, thanks again for joining me here as well. It's great to see you. Great to chat.
Sorry
It is
about
good
that.
to
I'm
be
having a
here.
little,
It is good to be awake. It is good to be staring at my mage blood. That's all I have to say.
What's happening?
Oh, yeah, you're actively playing Path of Exile right now, aren't you?
I just have it open because so there's this weird thing with the new city builder called King's March. It's the new league this time. You build your own city, and there's these passives, like as you upgrade your farm, they farm resources. Well, apparently people have found out that those passives stop working when you're offline. So if you go offline of the game, the passives stop working. So you'll lose like 40% of your yield. So then I just leave the game on now, which, it's not ideal, but it is what it is.
Hey, I feel that. I play a lot of AFK kind of games, so whenever I play Satisfactory, that's a big one for me. Is I'll leave my computer on overnight. Not only does it work as a small heating element, but also all the pretty RGB makes it so I don't smash my feet and stuff in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I woke up and my office was my office was normally 60, 66, 67 depending on the day. If I forget to close this vent before I go to sleep, it's like 62, which is real cold. But I came down today with the vent closed, and it was 72 because the computer was just on the whole night, so it's just keeping it nice.
Going out some heat. So think about that for your electric bill, folks. That's a real thing,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, in the wintertime, I don't even have to have any kind of heater down here. It's just fine. Now it's cold when I first wake up, but then once I turn the computer on, it's like, by the end of the night, I'm like, I'm Gucci.
I don't know what you guys are paying on your electric bills, but we're up over $200 a month here.
No, my electric bill is like, in 3 months it was $550 something, so it's kind of close, I guess.
Yeah, not too far off.
I usually pay $250 to $300 a month, but caveat to that, I also grow weed in my apartment, so
yeah.
But that same thing is like the computer situation. All these lights, honestly, the heat they throw off, I don't pay anything during the winter time. It's just my hobbies keep me warm.
Well, I know that there was a thing going around where the electric company was charging more per kilowatt hour than NOPEC. NOPEC was like guaranteeing a lower rate for like some duration, and then like at a certain point, then the electric company could be more cheap, and then you could go to the electric company and you're like, hey, I want to go back to you, and then like NOPEC is cheaper. You can like shop around for energy. It blows my fucking mind.
Play that game just like cable companies do. They play that game, right?
Yeah,
and they just trust that you're not going to go through the pain in the butt of switching, streams.
Yeah, they just randomly out of nowhere they just like jump the rate, and so you just have to pay attention to your electric bill. If it goes up one day, like, well, I think they do alert you on the bill, so you have to look at your bill. I just pay the fucking thing,
and that's what they depend on.
Kind of the shtick is, I think that for a lot of companies they just figure that you're going to pay it. It's a service, which is so unlike how we work with Magic the Gathering. Is, I can't really get by without internet, without heat and hot water. I can definitely get by without Magic the Gathering foundations and value packs. So they have to make me want to spend my money with them. And didn't we have
a thing going on betting on what the price was going to be?
I think we've been gentlemen betting for quite a while here on the channel, and let us know down in the comment section.
It's right on point with what we were saying. Like, what'd you say? It was 280 something? 280 was seen at Walmart.
My bet was it was going to be under $2 or right around the $2 mark, and it's $2.94.
Yeah, I was figuring.
Right rules, I win.
Yeah.
My camera just froze. It just doesn't feel like working right now.
But I mean, even Rudy said, the only way they can manufacture it really has to be right around $3 a pack, right? And that's about where I said it would come in, is right around $3 a pack. Do we know how many packs are in a box for the value packs?
I don't know if
I know
there
the
is
boxes are
boxes.
smaller, right?
Hmm.
Don't they have fewer cards in them?
Yeah, there's only like 8 cards in there.
I don't remember, but I do remember like it was smaller. You have a chance of not getting a rare or a mythic in a pack. Like, how is that gonna feel? Like, I can't think of a product where you don't get at least one rare. Some are all rares, right? You know, like those all rares and mythics. Hello, Mr. Hillbilly. Like the
So yeah,
those
the
what do they call those promo packs?
the sample collector boosters.
No. Just like the promo packs, or like when you win at a store or something, they have those like foil wrapped packs that have like foil cards in like 2 or 3, but they're all rares, right?
Oops,
So
all
2
rares.
commons, 6, 7, or a special. So 3 commons, 2 uncommons, a wild card,
That was right. 8.
and 1 more. 6. So that's only 7 cards coming in a value booster.
And
Which I don't
you
like
may
because it
not
makes the
get a rare.
cards. It makes the packs hard to open.
I'll tell you what, like, have you guys been watching some of the other channels and their takes on Mystery Booster 2? I was watching Jake and Joel for a while. Seemed like Jake was behind it. Rudy talked about it, said he's not going to be carrying them.
I don't think
because
you
he can't.
get them. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad we're on the same page here, Matt.
So that makes me wonder exactly what the distribution, and I haven't heard anything about the distribution other than they're going to be at conventions, and they're going to, I think Gavin stated that they're going to be available for a while. But still, in order to get them, I wonder if they're going to have multiple, like festival in a boxes.
Yeah. So that's my pet thought on it is I don't think this will be the only time that we see this as an inclusion in festival in a boxes, which is a not exactly annual, but recurring item on, I think, a semi-annual basis. We see these maybe quarterly almost at this point. And if that's how people are going to be, air quotes, suckered into buying all of the other leftover add-on items, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that including Commander Masters collector booster packs is a great way to get rid of a product that people didn't want to directly pay for.
Well, you mean booster box, because they're probably not going to sell these as loose packs anywhere.
No, included in the festival in the box is 3 loose packs of collectors, including one Commander Masters.
Collectors. I'm sorry, I thought you were saying mystery.
Also, as a reminder, the festival in the box is this Monday. Just in case
and I'm so back and forth. I keep telling you guys, I'm not going to get it. I'm
buying 3. If I can get in, and if I can buy 3, I'm buying 3. Like that is guaranteed.
You can get 3. That's going to be. They said that's the limit, right? Now the issue is you're going to have to either be awake, stay awake, or wake up. Because that's really a bad time for you. I think it's at noon, right?
It looks like it's at noon. It's not too bad.
Was that noon Eastern or Pacific? I think it was Eastern, right?
I think noon Eastern because he said 9 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I've been staying up till like 2 p.m. anyway, so that's fine.
Such a weird thing to hear.
I'm back on the fence again of buying some because I really do want to have one on the shelf for like like I said, the decanted bottle of wine sort of issue. I don't know if I want 3 because I can't imagine where we're going to do it 3 times, but 2 maybe I could see.
Well, so that was kind of my thought on it, and similar to both of you, I've been kind of hemming and hawing, trying to really figure if it's worth my time or worth my money. And
I'm not hemming at all. I definitely want 3. There's no question.
Don't get me wrong. I want 3, but
I'm definitely drafting one with the boys.
Sounds right.
I'm definitely keeping one on the shelf.
Can you invite me for that one, please?
You're always welcome any Thursday you want to come over. You just tell me.
But you have to tell me like, hey, we're gonna draft. I don't want to come over when you guys are hardcore banging at it with decks that mine just have no business being up against.
or freaking AFR. Can at least marry one of you guys. Oh, thanks, Chi.
So
see, our audience does love us, Bob.
Well, only 2 of us are single or unmarried.
I'm engaged.
I'm doing confirmed bachelor thing. I mean, honestly, I love having only plants and pats in this place. It is freaking great. It is the right amount of like
being single.
people.
I'll be honest.
Nobody moves my stuff except me and Drunk Pat, and that guy's barely ever here anymore.
Well, you don't have very many arguments with yourself, I assume.
I feel as though I win and lose most of them.
That's cool. At least you always win and you always lose.
Which I mean,
I definitely want the draft experience for Mystery Booster 2. And somebody was kind of bashing on that concept. I don't remember what creator it was. I'm like, really? That's what this product is for. And the whole idea is the chaos draft, because I love the idea of you can't really establish. It's just not possible. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to have this. Well, that's perfect there, Chi, because we're probably not leaving at least until the end of the stream. At which point, if you're not a member, I mean, even $1 can get you into the member stream for the after show. So remember, that's one of the value adds that we try to do for our channel members, is to invite behind the scenes. You get a little more cussing, you get a little more kind of behind the scenes. Love you too, Sherry Vegas. That's right. We have been together 12 years, folks.
Wow, it is storming crazy outside, and my porch sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad out right now.
I heard water pouring, and I'm like, what is happening inside my house? And my porch is so, I got to replace my porch.
We're so bad at shilling, Prime. We really are. You know that. It's like, I have to remember to try to do it. But I don't think it's so much shilling as like, hey, just a reminder, because it doesn't pop up in neon lights. Hey, here's an extra value add.
Although I am trying to figure out how to do that. I swear, if I can figure that illumination thing they were talking about, I'm making sticks and moves.
Oh boy. So I appreciate that.
Does Benson have a new handle? Is that what this is?
I don't know. Either that or somebody needs glasses.
And I do want to take a moment to reach out and say, what up, Prime? Great to have you here. I'm not going to pick on you tonight. I'm going to do that when Space Marine 2 comes out, and I will leave you behind because you're playing a sniper.
Here, I'll help you out, Chi. I'll put Bob behind the comments so you can't see him. It'll calm you down a little bit.
Yeah.
But just if you want to join us, make sure that you become a channel member, and then you can join in the after show. That happens immediately after these Saturday night shows for about 30 minutes. We're probably going to go about 90 minutes. I think have we settled in on that? I believe that's what we decided last week. 90 minutes is pretty much a sweet spot. So we'll be on till about 8:30 live for everybody. And then you can join us in a more exclusive private chat as a member.
Insane.
Enough shilling for that shit. But like I said, I one product I don't want to have on my shelf is this right here. Like, I want to see, I am so curious to see where this price goes. I suspect after the first year, the sales of Foundations is just gonna be abysmal.
That's part of my wonder too, is how many stores are sharing your exact same sentiment on that. I don't want to have this product on my shelf. I wonder how long we're going to end up seeing this in local gaming stores. How many grandmas and unaware aunts are going to be tricked into buying this for people? I mean, I don't think...
Or a controversial take, or it'll do so good that everybody's going to want to carry it.
How do I mute this guy's microphone?
I don't think so. I mean, it when it's available for 5 years, there's literally no sense of urgency to buy it. There's no sense of exclusivity. It's going to be considered, like remember, core sets didn't particularly ever do well. They do well in hindsight because, they started adding cards that you only see printed there. Looking at you, Core 2021 still amazes me how that's not more expensive than it is.
And
right.
Core 21 was super fun. I opened a lot of it. Not only was it a great reintroduction to Magic for me personally when I was coming back in, and on top of that, there were some really good reprints in solid showcases. I think they were pretty tempered on that one, unlike Innistrad's.
Yeah. No, it was a banger of a set. I really I'm scratching my head how it didn't do better and how it's not really climbing in price, because when you consider it, there are just not just the reprints, but like new cards. Right? I don't think Veto was a reprint, right? That was new to that set. I might be wrong. But certainly, Elder Gargaroth, which if it ever hits the table...
Oh, man. That thing is a powerhouse. Yeah.
And then you have, the Terror of the Peaks in there. You got Grim Tutor. Just what a strong set. You even have that little annoying, like, one hit, one health, one toughness, one... defense, little cleric guy that's got life link. That if you get over 27 life, you can start tapping him to put angels up on your team. What's that priest? You got Vito in there.
I don't remember.
It's so crammed full of like really good cards. It's like just drafting it would be a solid thing to have to pull off your shelf and play with folks. It's a good set, not just basic Foundations. I have a feeling Foundations is going to be sort of a mix of really meh cards with things like Omniscience. How is that going to be in Standard for 5 years? I don't understand.
Oh, well, shucks, Cheese and D. Hey, we appreciate it. And, much love for everybody out there as well.
Interesting thing about the Foundations is you've got the starter decks being revealed as well. I think they did a good. I think they've made some good decisions with Foundations, though. Well, I mean, the first one we've already talked about Foundations a lot, but the most recent one is they brought up the starter decks, so they previewed 2 of the starter decks, and they're both monocolor, and I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
When you're introducing somebody into Magic, having like multiple colors, it's simple to us. But like when somebody's learning all of the things that are Magic, it's probably better to just be like, all right, just one color, super simple. One of it's cats, I think, and the other one is mono black. So mono white, mono black.
Yeah.
So cats versus vampires. It seems like they probably should have done werewolves versus vampires or something, just because that would have been funny. But cats versus vampires, I guess, is fine too.
Do you know if it is limited to just the 2 decks and the 2 colors, or do you have an inkling if they're going for 5 and just completing the pie?
I assume they'll have one for every color, because the article that I read says something about like two of the ones have been spoiled, not the only 2.
Okay, I mean that seems like it would be fitting. What are your thoughts on this current information, Bob?
Well, I like the idea that they're going with Foundations on focusing on new players, right? I've always been an advocate ever since I started on YouTube for having more focus on new players than entrenched players. Entrenched players are going to buy the product regardless. They'll keep the money train flowing. And it is important to understand, to us, this is a game. To WotC, this is a business. If we want to continue to have a game, they have to make money, right? And money comes from new players, considering that the average lifespan of a player is 2 to 3 years. So if they don't
do you think the Foundations is going to outlive players? Like, is that
it very well could at 5 years? It clearly does, and I think that's one of the I think that's why they also extended Standard right to 3 years. But I think that this is really going to mess with people, especially after like the 3-year rotation that Foundation starts with. All of those sets and all those synergies rotate out, right? But Foundations is still going. Like it's going, it adds another layer of complexity, which I don't like. So if you're going to make Foundations 5 years, then you need to make Standard rotations 5 years. So you're going to have this disparity of hot dogs and buns. You know what I'm saying? Where, oh boy.
Speaking of hot dogs and some buns, we got somebody here with a $4.99 super chat.
Oh, Brian
saying y'all rock, whereas I think he's got it all wrong. In fact, he's the one who rocks. Thank you much to our favorite lizard man. You keep slinging those spells, brother.
Yes, but just don't do it from the front of the pack.
Yeah, I mean,
it worked.
That's the worst part about like every single week we'd come back and it was the same fun shenanigans. I enjoyed the frustration, and as I was trying to get into, I look forward to us getting back into that. The D&D 2024 Player's Handbook actually comes out next month, so we might see on Roll20 some incorporation of their new rule set. What are you guys thinking about that?
That they got nobody liked the name, so they just stopped calling it that. There was no official name of anything. They called it D&D 1 for a little bit, and then everybody hated it, so now they keep calling it D&D 2024.
Yeah, Hillbilly, I'm not too terribly far from that, so that's very likely. Yes, and I plan to. I want to play in retirement. That's why I have sealed. Like Matt, I don't know the last time you saw my stack in the basement, Matt, but
I've actually never been in your basement that I remember. I'm fairly
Well,
certain.
Pat, you'll get to see it. I've taken pictures. I thought I went on a virtual tour with you, Matt, in my
Oh
basement.
well, I meant like in person, but yes, in virtually
but
I've
that's
seen
what
it.
it's there for. But there's, I have Star Wars Destiny up there. I've got some Flesh and Blood in there. Unfortunately, I also have that one cryptic, I think, from
Hell yeah.
I bought as solidarity with
Ed.
Dual Brain. Love you,
Yeah.
Dual Brain. But
You
that
got any
product
MetaZoo?
I do not. I have no MetaZoos.
That's
I
I'll
do have
bring
the
you
little
some. Don't
mini
worry.
Magic decks. Those mini decks. You guys know what those are? Anybody in the audience ever buy those little mini decks? Yeah, my blind ass
Never
won't be
bought it,
able
but
to see
I know what it is.
So I have those. I've got some interesting shenanigans down there. I've got I have the Plane Chase anthologies, which is still in the wrapper. I've got some Friday night. What is it? Not Friday Night Magic. What is that one called in the Pentagon box?
Game night.
Game night. I have one of those. I have the Explorers of Ixalan board game upstairs.
So there's going to be eight different decks in Jumpstart in the foundations, because the foundations beginner box says 2 instant play deck. Well, it says 2 instant play decks, 2 to learn to play guides, but then 8 Jumpstart decks. So I'm guessing 2 commander decks and then 8 Jumpstart packs, and they're calling them decks, or maybe there'd be 16 Jumpstart packs, which makes.
And what's that in? Is that the starter
This
product?
is the Foundations beginner box.
Can you show us a link to that so we can
MTG
see? Like, I talk to some people and they get very confused
box.
about the SKUs out there, and I think that's one more thing that's probably
So that's the one for $33.94, so $35.
okay. That's definitely not going to have 16 packs.
But
it's
got 8 Jumpstart decks in it.
That is an aspect of the Foundations. Doing well, Hillbilly. Thank you for joining us. But Foundations is adding more different types of product SKUs. Didn't they just say that they're going to trim that down, that they're going to get that?
That's like what's the most disgusting thing about it is you are 100% on point, is that they were supposedly the merging of draft and set boxes into play boosters was supposed to be able to help local gaming stores and consumers purchase their product more informed. Whereas
they trimmed it down. They trimmed it down to make room for Foundations.
Yeah, one add 5. Like, this is my saving grace. The thing that's making me not just like flip out and throw stuff about this entire thing here is that, as Bob said, it is really tailored to a new player experience. And anybody that has even a cursory knowledge or a couple of decks, right? If you've been playing Magic for a year, I really doubt that you want anything to do with Foundations outside of the niche possibility you are a collector investor. Sorry, Timmy, but I'm also not very confident in those collector boxes for Foundations. I don't know.
I think it should have been one SKU. I think they should have had one product to buy, either a regular draft box or, in my opinion, the Jumpstart boxes. I would have only made Jumpstart boxes. Maybe to Matt's point, those monocolored starter decks, but limit it so that a brand new player doesn't have to consider, do I buy the collector? Do I buy the bundle? Do I buy the starter box? Do I buy the draft box? Do I buy, you know what I'm saying? Like the individual decks, like what do I buy as a new player?
I think this would have been a great opportunity to do a throwback to like Invocations, where you didn't have a collector box. You just had to open up the baseline box, and that's how you found the good items. I think that would have been a better experience for players as well.
Sure, they could have done that in a Jumpstart pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that would have been a real cool way to do it. But
I would have done, hot take, I would have done Jumpstart boxes with serialized cards.
Ooh. And, I think that's... I would love that.
I think that's just a great way to bring somebody into the Magic fold.
Yeah, well, that's a phenomenal experience. You're going down to the store, or maybe you and a couple of friends are getting back into it. Maybe your auntie buys you some and it's your first time playing it, and you get a really cool card. Also, flip side of that, mass box openers that just want to get a case and just rip wrappers and hunt for something cool. If it's at a low enough price point, might be worthwhile. I mean, I think that's why Flesh and Blood is still around, because people do want to rip a case in an afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there are ways I could have improved already with what I'm seeing. Not that I'm bashing them. I like the focus on new players, but again, I have concerns about, I don't. Do you really know all the SKUs that they have for the foundations yet? I don't, and I'm looking. It's like, okay, new stuff.
Now, even during this show, I have learned of new items coming up. I didn't think of the idea. Are there going to be 5 starter decks for the entire pie, and then also other ancillary sealed deck products?
Well, it sounds like 2 starter decks in the packs. I don't know if there's going to be They could be random inside. That would be kind of weird, because kind of good, and it would be good because it would make you want to buy more than one if you wanted to collect the.
Well, I mean
the starter decks.
It reminds me of yesterday. I
random.
was able to play Ursula's through Lorcana, the Ursula's multiplayer adventure kind of thing, where it's 2v1, and those come with sealed decks, and they're pretty decent. I'd say probably on par with most of the other starter decks that Lorcana puts out. And it's interesting because
did you win?
Take that into effect, we did, but it was not easy.
Right.
Yeah. Very fun. It's been months since I've played Lorcana in any capacity, and Tyler, the guy I was playing with, he had never played before. He'd played Magic way back in the day, and his daughter that was there, she's 8 years old, so if it's not Minecraft or Fortnite, she don't know nothing about it.
It's a very different experience. I really like it. I really like that play style. The multiplayer.
Yeah, I think it's a great take on the game, and as like with Commander Raids, the multiplayer aspect of it, where you're all comrades, you're all fighting a mutual enemy, I think that just conveys a different play experience that is just so much more fun and far more inviting. Not that I don't love the strategic gameplay I have when Matt and I get to engage with each other in Magic decks, but sometimes I just want to be able to let my brain, turn down a level or two, and it's nice in the co-op stuff. One-on-one can definitely be a little bit too tough.
No.
Yeah. It's. I think it's a good. Actually, I've gotten beat in that game more often than we've won, especially with the starter decks that they give you. I'm like, okay. So I've already, been building decks, and I even dropped like $100 this week to get Diablo. So just so you know, Pat, and I'm going to lose most of the audience here for that Ursula's the Illumineers quest.
Yes.
Yeah. You know how many cards she draws, right?
We were playing on the easiest one, so it was just 2.
But even still, you get like 2 pretty quickly. She gets like 2. Well, Diablo, every time an opponent draws a card, you draw a card.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Now they're $30 a piece, and I opened one in the set, but I bought 3 more. It was like $100 on TCG Player. And yes, Dual Brain. I used your affiliate link for that. We should probably do that at some point. I don't know how that works, but we don't do a lot of like buying and selling. We're not a big channel for buying and selling stuff. But so I ordered 3 of those, and those are actually in the mail for a deck that I'm going to use, and I'm going to pair that with Mother Gothel. I don't know if you know what she does.
No.
She's the one that when she's tapped, opponents cannot quest.
Oh.
I even bought a whole bunch of those because I'm like, she breaks shit. Like, just imagine her. She's such a powerhouse in like multiplayer format. I'm sure she'll eat a lot of removal, but she's like a 20-cent card. And I was like, okay, that's really strong for what she is, right? And then you just have 4 of her. So I'm building an emerald. Was it amber? Is yellow? Is that what that is? The yellow. So it's green and yellow.
Topaz? So I don't know. They did this whole weird gem thing, and I never understood birthstones or any of that shit.
But I think amber's yellow. It's like Jurassic Park yellow, with the mosquito caught in it. The audience can tell us what color amber is. But at any rate, so it's the green yellow, and I'm using the green because that's real good at bringing cards back from your banish area, right? Your graveyard, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be, the Mother Gothel, and if it ends up killing her, I'm just going to like play Hades and pull that card back to my hand and play her again. Now she has 6 cost, so She's not going to be a factor till late in the game, but once she gets in, she pretty much stops him. And I have another card, 7 cost, that stops one specific thing from questing when he is questing or something. So, but that's the idea. It's going to be more of the slow them down deck.
Oh yeah,
I have another one too. But anyways, yeah, for that format, I think it might break it. You know what I mean? Because they don't specifically target cards that you have, right?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like hers, like, oh, do 2 damage to any exerted card, that kind of stuff. So at any rate, yeah, I am deck constructing around that format in Lorcana for our Lorcana fans in the audience. I highly recommend. How do you feel about that, Pat? How did you feel about the product? Was it worth the price point?
For what I paid for it, man, maybe not. For what it is now, absolutely. I mean, when I bought it, it was $60, which was, going market price. And now you can find them online sometimes for like 40. And for that price, abso-freaking-lutely. Even at $60, I don't think it was, a bad purchase. If you were to do it multiple times or have a Lorcana play group, it would definitely be worthwhile. Similar to Commander Raids, you can kind of play test your deck a little bit.
Yes.
And as we had noted in the footnote of it, it's not exactly easy. So it's a good bar to kind of fight off against there.
You know what I am disappointed in with Lorcana though, with the new set that just came out, the Shimmering Skies, they didn't continue that multiplayer format. So I'm a little
right. Yeah,
it's currently $43 on TCG Player. I think that's just for the amount of fun you get for the amount of money you spend. Totally worth it.
Yeah, the $50 after taxes and shipping and stuff, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, they added the gateway, which is like it's sort of like Foundations for Lorcana for the Shimmering Sky set that just came out. But I'm really kind of disappointed that they didn't continue down that path with the Illumineer's Quest. Like, I hope it's not a one and done. You know what I mean? Like Magic did, like with the To Kill a God or Defeat the Hydra. I don't know if you're familiar with those products. Those are back in the Theros block.
Yeah, I only know of them because I'm in the atmosphere, but I have no exposure.
How many have you ever seen in person?
Oh no!
Right? I don't understand. Like, you give it one shot, and if it doesn't immediately take off, and you aren't really pumping it, because they don't really pump even. What was the version we played, Matt, in Vegas of Commander Raids? Boss Monster.
Yeah, it was called Boss Monster.
You just don't see it getting pushed. You don't see it getting played on, like the Magic channel. You don't like it. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll give it a nod, but we won't really support it. You know what I mean? The rules seem like they were not well thought out. What's that?
It's like, fine, it exists,
right? And they don't really help push it. They push unsets more than they do that. So
and speaking of sets that are going to start getting pushed here recently, Matt had a note that there were some Duskmourn Commander sets that seemed that they were leaked and then kind of taken back down. I gotta say, in all honesty, I just do not care already for anything I've seen from Duskmourn. The 1980s retro horror thing does nothing for me. And I don't know if the decks that they're going to be including along with it, if they kind of have that same retro horror aspect to it. I don't know if I'm going to want to engage with any of that. Matt, do you have any more information on that leak?
I'm trying to unfortunately the image is super blurry, so you can't really read what the things are on there. You can see the colors, but we already knew that. There was some kind of, I'm trying to figure out if I could find if it was an article for something, but somebody at WotC said that they're not TVs, they're screens or something like that. Some stupid
out of here.
Some stupid little twist on they're not TVs, they're just slightly different. I think maybe it was the Tellurian Academy.
Oh my! I mean, I'm not upset if they just go full on. I mean, realistically, Outlaws at Thunder Junction was cowboys with pistols riding like magical cows and horseback. Streets
But they're
of
not
New Capenna,
pistols. But they're not
right?
pistols.
Yes. They're
Dude, I
wand
hate when they
powered.
do when they call a duck a cow. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
if you're gonna do it, lean into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, hey, we're
I mean-
trying to reach all segments of our audience. We're trying to appeal to a wider palette of tastes out there, like they did with freaking Strixhaven. Really do not like Mystical Archive art.
Oh man,
That-
I'm
that'll
so
hit me
the
in.
opposite. I don't like the Japanese like
I love the
showcase stuff that
Japanese
they do.
ones.
Oh, see,
Love
I
the
can't.
Japanese ones.
Domo arigato. I don't read Japanese like
Abato?
kanji, so that I definitely felt as though it was lost on a huge segment of the public. Some of them look
Daijobu
cool, but-
dakara totemo ichiban no nante no images. This.
Betty Hana, Samsung, we're gonna get demonetized if we keep this up. So, so for me, again, I mean, with everything, art is such a subjective thing.
That
We can,
doesn't now
can,
see
like,
that
find-
doesn't look like it represents it too much, except for what's in his hands or her hands or its hands.
Yeah,
Is that a
it's
gun?
death toll.
I'm talking about the card itself. It looks like some sort of rocket launcher in the right hand.
It's got there's a rifle and then like some kind of power hammer. I think it has death touch, and I think it's a 2/5 for 5. It's a legendary something warlock, probably.
What's so weird, in
And-
the early 2000s, I thought I could just yell at my computer the word enhance and it would make everything more clear.
Computer.
This
enhanced. Is
looks
that
like
Amanatu
Amanatu?
again?
That is
I mean,
definitely Amanatu.
But it's not
Why-
a.
why do they
it's not a
keep pushing her?
planeswalker. It's a card.
Have you guys ever played against an
Laura
Amanatu
got here
deck?
tonight. What up, champ?
I know
We're
that
checking
she
out
can be
the
used
Duskmourn.
in CEDH, so she seems like she's strong.
Which one? This
Uh,
version or the regular Amanatu?
No, the planeswalker version.
Yeah, I've never seen it. And when I read it, it's like it just doesn't appeal to
I
me.
do like
I don't
that they're
know.
getting rid of planeswalkers.
Oh,
you
that's
know,
the
that they
girl
use
from
for-
Strixhaven. Speaking of Strixhaven,
This is
from the
Simone.
Quandrix. Yeah,
Maybe?
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's Simone. Yeah, she was cool. It's called Jump Scare, which I don't know how blue green is Jump Scare. That doesn't sound like jump scary to me.
it's like
Oh,
the
dude,
opposite of
Miracle
jump scare.
Worker,
If they bring back mutation, whoa.
and then there's whatever this guy's doing. I can't even see or understand what that word's supposed to be. Harvester
That
of
is-
Souls?
Blech.
Harvester.
Oh, and I'm totally with Prime on this one. That first guy is definitely a Ghostbusters looking dude.
Oh yeah, that's a. I meant to say that, but it looks very Ghostbustery.
No, the
It looks
top
like
one
it says
is that
whenever he attacks, roll dice.
the top one is it Phyrexian? It looks kind of Phyrexian-ish.
Well, it
I
could
think
be.
it's whatever those weird. Yeah,
It's like a
I don't know if they're
Phyrexian
going
fairy.
Phyrexian on this one. I think it's just supposed to be like Eldritch horror.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lovecraftian
it's
kind
Harvester
of
of probably souls. I don't know.
Harvester of crotches.
But one thing I am excited for this set is the Archenemy cards.
Yeah, do you see that? I was about to point that out. I'm
And
down with that.
Archenemy cards. I like that.
But is it only going to be in that one deck?
No, it's in 10 there, 10 there, 10 there, 10
So
there.
it's
There's
only
10
two, but
in
you don't see it on
each
Amanatu and you don't see it on, or is that part of the
right here.
upper
Look.
label? Okay,
That's
gotcha.
yeah, it's 2 sets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're,
so it
they're
looks
all,
like it's
there's
all
four,
four.
four. I think
Oh,
there's gonna
damn
be
it.
40 new cards.
But I've never even played Archenemy. Like I've seen it played, but
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
fun.
played it myself.
I've played it. It's a good time.
What'd you think?
I like it. I mean, obviously, when you're the archenemy, you feel busted strong because you're doing some crazy things. You get free spells and you get to do like things that normal people don't really get to do. So like
become
as
the
the
boss
archenemy yourself, it's fun, and then as the players, it's difficult to like fight against the archenemy. So
If I play
Um,
with you, you have to be the archenemy.
okay,
Don't twist his
There you
arm too
go.
hard there.
When is it coming out, by the way? Because I'm trying to plan some of
Like
the
the end
stuff
of next month.
for Pat's. So I'm just going to say it here. For those of you that aren't aware, Pat has been gracious enough to be pinkies out, coming out to see us here in the Cleveland area around Matt's. I don't want to say that, around Halloween.
Yeah.
So I really hope that some of these releases, something new, something hot, because I don't know that we're going to be able. We have a commitment, at least I do, which means I'm going to commit Pat to that Saturday night. It's going to be a board game night with a bunch of friends. Guy I went out shooting guns with today. So I'm going to try to get something lined up that we can purchase to film that's, relatively hot, relatively new, that the three of us can get together, maybe even more. Maybe we can, if it's 4-player stuff, maybe, I don't know. Do you think Nate would be down possibly? Is he busy on weekends?
I think he's fairly open on for the Saturdays, but it just depends on the day.
Okay. I don't know. It'd be a Saturday, but we might have to pre-record or, do it the night before for a live or something. But we're going to try to do something for the audience here. It's special around Pat's trip out here. Going to try to take advantage of us actually being together in person. So we are going to try to do some things. And as part of that, I don't really know when they're releasing. I think Duskmourn is going to be the thing. And that just makes me kind of sad.
Duskmourn is on September 27th. And then the next one after that is Foundations on November 15th.
Right, which is after he already leaves. So that's why I said I think Duskmourn is going to be the new hotness. And it's like, oh, really? I don't think any of us are hyped on Duskmourn. How about you in the audience? Do we have a poll we can put up there? Just
I'm
I'm
lukewarm about Duskmourn.
How do you guys feel? Well, what about like the I don't think we're going to get the mystery 2 box in time. I think hoping. that would be ideal if we could get our hands. So if anybody in the audience can help us get our hands on mystery 2 prior to the end of October. When is MagicCon Vegas?
I don't know.
It's soon. It's coming soon because they're just spamming my inbox. So at any rate,
October 25th.
Ah, boy, see, that's so tight. It would have to be like an overnight thing for anybody. Dual Brain, if you're still there, or even Prime, are you guys planning on going out to Vegas this time around? Might have to get you to snag a box. Yeah,
if you're doing it, if you can get us a box of Foundations and overnight ship it, we'll pay.
Yeah, we'll pay you for that if you think you could manage that for us. That would be sensational. Because it would have to be something like that. So yeah, we'd have to pay the $50 for shipping or whatever ridiculousness. It's
so funny. Every time I log into
put it on the company credit card.
YouTube's just got like 20 comments every time I log into the Gaming Bob account. It's just like comments. Like, dude, man, people love your shorts. I look forward to patting you on the back for all the hard work you've been doing.
Pat, I got a few more I got to do.
Both of you guys do. I'm the lazy
hard work people are doing. We've got a poll up. That's right. We are asking for your hard work right now here live while we were streaming.
Please,
if you are interacting with Duskmourn, let us know right there in the comment section.
Yeah,
if you're live.
Please. I think it would be this way. I don't know. I don't know where it is on the vertical, like where comments are.
I think it's bottom.
Is it over that way? All right. So if you can, please take part in the poll and tell us how you feel. We're trying to measure us, the three here, the Brady Bunch. We're not super hyped about. I think all of us agree. We're not super hyped. We're not like shitting on it like the double feature.
No, I'm just lukewarm. I'm excited for new cards. I don't really care about the theme.
Yeah,
I don't like the theme. Yeah, and I don't really care about new cards.
It's just not made for me. Which is good.
How is the rest of the Magic audience? Is it just the three of us, relatively close in demographics that it just doesn't appeal to us? Or is it just universally not a super appealing product? Like, did they go for a niche corner market that just isn't there?
Right.
What drove that decision to say, yes, this is important enough, we need to make a set out of it?
I mean, what's funny is similar to Solar God, I'm only interested in that television bundle looking thing. I think that's relatively neat to have on a shelf. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is I could just have the empty box with like 2 or 3 pieces of tape on it and be 100% fine. So not even like buying the bundle itself, just getting the empty box for it.
Yeah, the empty outer wrapper.
Yeah, 100%.
And I might get one for the very same reason, just to put on my shelf for looks. But I don't have any intention of opening the box.
How's our Magic 30th anniversary doing? I've got a bookmark.
It's right in that same ballpark. It dropped down to like 1150. but it's in that, or it's just
It's at 1,200, and it's been at 1,200 for
right.
about.
And like, look at the flat line. Do you have the graph to show folks?
Yeah,
It's
it is
almost comical at
very.
this point. It's like, okay, this is the price point. And what's
I'm
even
still kicking
crazier,
myself that I didn't sell the 4-packs for 1,800, but it is what it is.
the supply never really varies much, just like within a couple of boxes, right? That's just mind-boggling to me. Like, even though it was a bad month in July, I think like one sold, maybe one in August, and it's like they're not moving, but the supply remains constant between like 14 and 20 perpetually, no matter how many sell.
People.
I've been watching it for like a year plus now, and it's like it just stuck at that price point and volume, right? Like, how is it that people, is it because it's unappealing and they're not moving fast? So indeed, it is not doing well, but that doesn't surprise me. Have you heard Rudy talking about it and Anger Collections talking about the latest trend? Yeah, look at those flat lines, folks. That is not a fast moving product.
It's very
slow.
Yeah, it's very, and the massive jump is not that much. It's like, looks like $1. Like it goes from 1133 to 1137.
So yeah, but it's like at this stuck price point. It's stuck at like this about 15 to 20 boxes available forever, no matter how many sell. Because if you look at like the sell-through rate since the beginning of the year, if there were 14 available, how the hell do we still have 14 to 19 available? Like, it's like,
and I think Solar God's got, he says, because it's poopy. I think that whatever opinions have been made are the opinions that people have on this product because it's so isolated. And I think that that's one of the reasons why this is such a stable price. One of the things I have found that if a box goes up or down in value, it's because the play pieces inside are either more or less rare than they were, or there's a new interaction. All the cards from M30, more or less, are never getting reprinted in any tangible way. So we're not going to see a reduction in the price, and we're probably not going to see a big spike either because these cards have been around for ages. So anybody that wanted them has them.
Well, and it reflects what Rudy was just talking about this week. Did either of you catch his like vintage is dead sort of conversation?
Nah. Anytime I see a 30-minute video from Rudy and he doesn't have a pink visor on, I check out.
Well, Anger
where's the
Collection
visor
said the
at?
same thing. Anger Collection said that he's selling off most of his vintage except for his Power 9. So there's a definite, nice return.
Got him.
But there's a definite
I
sort
didn't
of,
mean to do
I don't know how you want to call it, like a non-movement of vintage cards at the moment, right? Like it is essentially a flatline market for vintage at the moment, and that includes boxes. Do either of you have the TCG player for boxes on like vintage stuff? I was looking at prices, how much they've declined from their peak. Let me see if I can't find it real quick and try to.
So it's funny. I've actually been watching MTG North, one of my favorite unboxing channels. And they've definitely been doing a lot of older boxes. I've been seeing stuff from like, Odyssey, even back to, I think I saw an Ice Age box not terribly long ago. And I think that right now we are in an odd time in Magic. Like I said, it's that time of the MTG year where we are coming off of really good sets. We're not looking forward to anything particularly interesting. So I think it's a great time for people to look back at seasons gone by and kind of repurchase items that they might have missed out on.
So, yeah, like some of this stuff just is absurd. Who's dropping $9,000 on? If I decrease the width of this, does it?
Yeah, that's getting better. Yeah, make it look like your phone. Real tall and skinny.
All right, I guess we can go this way. I don't really like that view so much. So, but let's get beyond the absurdity. Who the hell's dropping $9,000 on Modern Horizons 3? Get out of here.
Yeah, I was looking at the one for 6,200. Like, anybody buying Assassin's Creed Collector, like, I am sorry. That's just, you are a sad.
Even Blueborough. right? Like this. Oh, this is a master case though, so I'd have to do the math. Oh, both of these are master cases, but still, who's dropping that? Who even has that to drop? This one is not surprising. It is what it is. You know, that's $500 a box. That's about right. Fine. But let's get to like older product because these are just sort of absurdities. This are you really considering paying $2,800 for double masters for 4 boxes? Get out of here. So nobody's buying these things. These are just hopeful prices. This is starting to get more into
reality. Come on. I mean, that's solid.
Why is, but it's not showing some of the draft boxes. Like, why is there filters? Why are there filters?
Well, it's just Magic the Gathering sealed products. That's the only filters.
Yeah, but it's not showing all the products. God, I hate this. So I'm on edge. Sorry, that's why I asked if you guys had it because, like, I wanted to look at the what?
Do you have like saved searches or something?
No, I don't, and that's why I'm like because what's on the other browsers, it's like Odyssey and some of the other ones that are like it has Urza Saga, which I don't see here. Like it's filtering some shit out, and I don't understand why. Clear filters. Okay, that worked. Why don't you guys just tell me clear all filters? Apparently there were filters I didn't understand. But this is what I'm talking about. So people really do want to open this, and not too terribly long ago, these Urza Saga boxes were up around $13,000-$14,000. Right? So that's come down quite a bit.
Huge retrace. Yeah.
We all totally believe this. We're going to pool our money and we're going to buy a case of these on Cardboard Odysseys. No, we're not. Why does it have
couple of years, Bob? We'll be doing that on
why
the
do we have sorcery and Pokemon in this search? The sorcery. Dark booster, that's a little high in all honesty. But Urza's Legacy at 8,000, that's not the worst ever. Urza's Destiny around 8,000, not the worst ever. Not like the best.
Hold on, was there a single card? Go back up just a hair.
Yeah, Marvel.
Oh, that's from Flesh and Blood. It's because of the legs. I get it.
There's not even
nice
ankles. I'd much rather have the Tundra from Beta.
Dude, for $3,700, I'm gonna fly out to see you guys twice a year, and I'm gonna pay you to open a bunch of boxes. Like, well, that was one of I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, what would be funner than a Chaos draft with Mystery Booster 2? Getting Bob to open up some of his sealed stuff, and we do a Chaos with things he has there. He said he wanted to get rid of them.
No,
true.
Get at it. But now we're starting to get into a territory that this is not. This is almost tempting. Like I loved opening Tempest.
That's why it's called Tempest. It's tempting you.
Yeah, I was trying to get there. Yeah.
I mean, that's almost in reach for us. I think it's still a bit high, but for a box, these are rare. These are very, very rare. But that's something like a retirement gift.
Yeah, there are not many of those.
So, that's not a horrible price. Some of these other ones, like that's a horrible price. Get out of here.
I cannot believe that the Fallout Collectors stuff has not only reached such high heights, but also stabilized at them.
So I think that this is probably more fair at the $2,400 range. This is out of range because I saw them down around this price. But Exodus is not a big hit. It's not nearly as fun as like Tempest. The Stronghold was 30-something hundred. Future Sight, no, I've always wanted this card. This is one of my dream cards in Magic. I want this more than a Power 9. And I could have got one for $100 at one point. Almost bought it too. Mercadian Masks, like if you get it at the market price, that's what I'm saying is these prices have come down significantly
for $2,300. That is a bot case, but that's still this is ridiculous.
I don't even know what that is.
Fanboys.
Oh, is that One Piece? Is that what that garbage was?
Yeah.
So at any rate, the whole point was start Mirage for $1,800.
That's definitely far more interesting than the VIP edition right below it.
Weatherlight, if you can get it at $1,600, is.
I'd rather open the case of Double Masters over any of those.
And that's the trend, right? I really like this. I should have bought a box, but back in the day, just so you're aware, you couldn't buy a box of Portal. That just was not a thing. Many of these, understand, when you're looking at these vintage and why the boxes are so kind of pricey, is back in the day when you could get these, you could not buy a box. Your local LGS would not sell you a box, mostly. I know that Tempest was the first one I was allowed to get one box, and I got 2 boxes of Stronghold. Those are the first ones that I was allowed to get boxes. Then I did get a box or 2 of Urza's Saga, a box or 2 of Legacy and Destiny. Back in the day, I did crack those. And this is when they started becoming more available in boxes and cases, right? This is more starting to get when the internet was starting to mature a little bit more. So that's why many of these, you didn't have people buying boxes, these older ones, and just sticking them on their shelves, because you quite literally could not do it. There was no place to go get boxes and cases from. Like, you couldn't just go to your local store and get it. There was no online retailer.
Yeah, right. Walmart was definitely not carrying these. Not that you can even now get a sealed box from them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could if you were right there when they stocked the shelves at Walmart, which I have seen happen. Right, like they know when, like, especially for Lorcana was when I discovered that there are people that are somewhat in cahoots with the reps, I don't want to say the distributor, but the distributor rep that's stocking the shelves, and they'll let these people know, hey, I'm about to go stock, Target up here on 82, right? And so they'll go there and they'll wait for that distributor rep to show up to stock, because understand, Walmart doesn't stock their shelves for product like this, and neither does Target. It's a representative from the distributor.
Yeah, it's like the same thing for Pepsi and bags of chips and stuff.
And I watched it when I was there. There was a dude that literally grabbed everything. It never even hit the shelf, and just shoved it in his cart at Target from the distributor. I was like, well, that's
see, what I like to do is wait for kids to put it in their basket, and then I take that shit right back.
And then you run up
there you go.
If you haven't paid for it, it's not yours. And then you just keep running down the pharmacy aisle. Yeah.
Hey, kid, what's that?
And then you grab it running maniacally with it raised over your head. But I'm just saying that keep an eye. If you have an interest in older vintage products, I am watching the trend of vintage products kind of creeping down. Like, if you want to call it normalizing, whatever you want to call it, it certainly is not anywhere near the highs of the last 4 years, right? So it's something that if you're serious, and understand, these are serious prices, folks. I mean, $1,500 for a box is not cheap.
That's right. You heard it here first. The Biden presidency was bad for vintage MTG.
Yeah. And honestly, the public sentiment that I'm seeing, and that's what's represented by Rudy, that's what I'm seeing in the numbers, that most of the fascination right now and most of the interest in Magic is actually surrounding modern cards.
It's that new hotness.
But the unfortunate thing about modern cards is they don't have that stability, right? Like, the older cards have a kind of floor, by and large, where the new cards, they're like, wee, and then they go,
there's so much fluctuation now. Yeah.
It's not, there's definitely, if you're interested in it because of the price point, that's a game I have a job. I can't, hey, got the product hot today, cracked it open, listed it, got it sold, let me get it in the mail,
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not in that as much as I used to be. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem selling off cards or whatever, but it is not as thrilling as it is like work. And if I'm working on the weekends, I get paid way more than I will selling Magic cards.
Right. And that's another thing. And I think even Jake and Joel finally said it on their show. I was just watching it recently. I think they were going through the mystery box, mystery 2 booster, their thoughts on it and the product releasing. And they were even saying, like, hey, if you're looking for an investment and you want to buy Magic cards, invest in the stock market, let it appreciate. And then when you want to buy the cards down the road, do it then.
Yeah.
Let your money appreciate in a real investment. Because it'll appreciate faster and more consistently. If that's what you're really after. Doing things like I'm doing, and you'll see it, Pat, it's really kind of absurd. You'll be like, Bob, this is just stupid. Because they definitely aren't even keeping up with inflation, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I just saved that money and invested it, I could buy a lot more of it right now.
Speaking of Sorcerer Solar God, don't worry, Pat and I will play at least one game.
Yes.
And I might sit there in the peanut gallery commenting on it. Like, we're going to do some stuff.
Maybe we'll
I don't
film
know.
it. I mean, that seems like a good
think
thing
that
to
would
film.
be great. In all honesty, like one of the best times I had, Matt, when we were at the Gen Con, just walking around on the floor, was you kind of talked me into just playing some random game that didn't seem at face value interesting to me. And after about 40 minutes of learning and enthralling gameplay, I walked away with like a different look at how I was engaging with new product lines. And I am definitely open to it. And that's the thing. Similar to eating food. I want to eat it and then decide if I like it. I don't want to get, worried or caught up on any of that stuff. Maybe the hype isn't just about the artwork. Maybe it really is a fun gameplay. And
I'll be
similar to
honest with
like
you.
Lorcana, I wanted
I
to
don't
take
know.
the risk. I wanted to see if it was worthwhile. Legions, Realms at War, stupid name, interesting game. Bad way to
I
make
think it's a good
cards,
game.
cool. It's worth taking a shot at it. And Solar God thinks that I won't be disappointed. So heck, for the 90 minutes it'll take to learn and play a game, totally on brand. I mean, right?
We need sponsorship from Gen Con because we keep talking about it, but I truly believe that is the place to go. If you're only going to go to one con, there's plenty of Magic there, folks. Don't like you guys can attest to it. There's at least 20% of the game floor dedicated to Magic. It has a huge presence at Gen Con, but you're never going to play sorcery at a Magic convention. You're never going to find Legion Realms at War at a Magic convention. You're never going to play. What'd you think of Hero Realms? I mean, for like a $20-$30 game.
Right. Yeah, and I was
Totally worth
thinking
the money.
about that, like Clank or some of the D&D modules. Like Matt and I got
Right.
to play Mathfinder with. I was talking about this the other day. Like, is it difficult to get younger kids into D&D and other role-playing games? It's like, I don't know. I was playing Pathfinder with like a 12-year-old that came in with like 5 characters he made up on his phone. Nah, man, there's definitely like a lot of play space for people, and yeah, leaning into it, definitely worthwhile. And I think that
Gen Con is worth the money, in my opinion, right?
Yeah,
Like when we went to Vegas, you
100%.
have like 4 days of Magic, and I'll be honest with you, I think 1 day is about enough. But Gen Con,
I think
there's
2
so
days.
much more.
In all honesty, 100% transparency and clarity, I could make money off of like the event stuff. I think just about like solvent for promos versus like cost of my like expenses to get there and everything. I mean, between Mickey Mouse promos and all the Star Wars and stuff, like, yeah, you can definitely attend events, get good stuff.
Oh shit, here's a Hero Realms promo from Gen Con. This is a Gen Con exclusive promo for Hero Realms. So as you can see, the art is actually not unappealing.
No, it's solid.
Like that seems like the cards are laid out well. They're easy to read. The mechanics are simple. I have 2 of those. Oh, and then they have Star Realms if you want to go to the space fantasy for the same genre. Similar layouts, easy to follow. The art's not quite as good. And then we got these are the promos we got just for playing for free, just for trying out Star Wars Unlimited with the Luke and Darth Vader promo. So yeah, if you pay attention to that when you go to Gen Con, you're right, Pat. You can at a minimum offset some of your cost. But I find Gen Con to be a superior experience.
I had an absolute blast compared to any other large gathering, any other like releases. I mean, it was bigger than if everybody in my state thought about having a convention. Like that's how big of an event it was, and that's not even hyperbolic. Yeah, it was.
It's huge,
phenomenal.
and you guys didn't even touch the tip of the iceberg, right? How many of the 3 floors did you go play games and?
Oh, Bob, it was just the tip. It was just the tip.
Like literally just the tip, right?
Yeah. Again, 100% to your point. I think the farthest I went was like down the hallway, and it must have been 20, almost 30 minutes to get to the Pathfinder event, and then all the way back on the other side. It could take you an hour plus 2 hours to legitimately get from one side to the other, and that's even just on like a flat plane, not considering how many other levels there are.
That's just the convention center, right? because all those connected hotels and some that aren't even connected by walkways, all of their convention rooms are booked up for about 2 miles out from, because I tried to book as one, right? And they're all booked. They're all full of games, panels, and they have interesting people at panels. You'll run into artists, game designers, video game designers, professionals in the industries that you're talking about, whether it's game design or marketing products. So let's say you have an idea for a game and you want to try to market it yourself to get something started. You're a venture capitalist or you're a innovator. They have panels for that. They have cosplayers. They've got robotics designers, because there's a robot battle event that you can go to. There's art panels. There's just so many different things to, like, if you don't even want to sit down and play and you just want to like get insider information, there are gatherings. Like, they have specific pizzas, they have specific beers that are Gen Con exclusives, that you have gatherings that you go to. It's just like, if you go for 5 years in a row, you still can't like absorb it all. Like, all right, this year I'm just going to go do panels. You're not going to get through all of them. Or this year I'm just going to do.
We'll have to go again next year.
New releases. You're not going to be able to get to all the new releases.
I definitely want to go.
Yeah, we'll aim for it again next year. I mean, that's literally
this year's
year
off the radar,
now.
but next year, very much, I'm going to try. The bigger thing is I have to be more mindful of my feet and my hip. Like, so I can't do as much walking. It'll have to be more targeted for me.
So what I think we should do for you, Bob, is we get you one of those rascal scooters. No, bear with me.
I hate that.
No, but bear with me. Is we cosplay it up so it looks like you're riding on a small pony or something the whole time. So like your handlebars are reins, and like the whole thing is
like a Monty Python, like the horses
100%.
when they're
or when you go to a carousel, like those tiny little horsies, we make it look like one of those, and you're like a full-grown dude riding it still. I think it'd be fun. For me, it'd be fun for me.
I'm definitely going to buy one of those little stools. I don't know if you saw those telescoping stools for like standing in lines.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw those where it's like a round disc and then they go pop and the whole stool extends.
They also have
I'm definitely going to get one of those.
You can get. There's like a special attachment you can get for your pants, and you just kind of like start sitting down, and a chair comes out of the back of your legs.
I'll have to do something because that was disappointing leaving early.
And if you go to like fall, like it shoots out an airbag.
Yeah, for old people and for motorcyclists.
But one of the bigger problems is just parking so far away and then walking.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah, I gotta say, even like where Matt and I would end up parking in like, I don't know, 15-20 minute walk or whatever. It was close enough, but far enough away that by the end of every single day, I believe my feet hurt.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll try to announce that and keep you guys involved. For those of us that might want to meet up and play with us at Gen Con and go check stuff out, we'll certainly try to set aside some times, and we'll probably try to make that like a scheduled thing, just so that we have, I don't know, you want to call it audience time for you guys to interact with us personally. I can't imagine I'm ever going to a Magic Con again. Like, it's too limited. It really is. But Gen Con I will certainly put in my future. And if we want to play Magic, there is far more Magic than you can think of to play at those things, man. There are hundreds of events.
I think I would have fun at a Magic Con if it was close by, like Columbus. That's like not too bad.
Okay, yeah, I'd probably do that, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm not going to Vegas again. I'm not going to Chicago. I'm not going to Atlanta. I'm not doing those. So sorry. And it seems like most of them are West Coast, like Salt Lake City, Nevada, California. And there's probably, fair enough. There's more people out on the West Coast than in the Midwest here. So I won't even go to like Philly.
And speaking of people piling in and having a large audience, I believe, Matt, that you were saying that this is the second largest Path of Exile league in the history of the game, that people are just crowding into it. They got a lot of player retention, a lot of newbies in there as well. Yeah.
Not necessarily the largest. I mean, I think it's very good, and they're trying. They definitely thought outside the box on this, and they've nailed a lot of it. Like, most of the time, they'll launch a season or a league is what they call it, and then there's like always like fixes, or they have to like tweak it this time, very little tweaks needed, and like very polished, very fun. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's fun. So Affliction on week 2. Affliction was one of the previous leagues a couple leagues ago. It was my favorite league. Still is. I think Affliction is still more fun to me. Just because it was so crazy and at the top end as far as like drops and gear and fun stuff to do. This would be second, and Affliction, I think it was like 63% player retention by week 2. And Settlers of Calgar, which is what the current league is now for PoE.
You were going to say Catan.
It is very Catan like. You have a farm, and it farms up like crops like pumpkin, and then like there's people on your map that like want like we want 30,000 pumpkin, and you like send a shipment to them with like a ship of people of crewmen that you like hire, and you like send them, you pay them gold, an hourly wage, and like you send them out, and it takes 30 minutes, and then they come back and they give you like an exchange for like the things you farm for like really.
Oh yeah, you showed me some of that.
It's so cool, but like yeah, I mean it. Yeah, it's shaping up to be one of the best leagues. I would say probably second to third favorite league. Affliction was first, but yeah, the player retention is really good. I think they could still tweak it a little bit more, and I'm hoping that they like. I don't, you know, when a game releases and it's like really, really good in the beginning, and then it's your like attention slowly like wanes. I don't understand, but I don't understand why the leagues, and I think Diablo 4 might have done it where they like release something like mid league, like a month in or 3 weeks in. They add a little bit more to it. I think games should do more of that. Just like do more of that. Just more, add a little bit sprinkled, like add enhancements.
The reason they don't do that is because it costs money. Where you tend to find more of that, to be honest with you, are like player-run servers where it's a passion project. They don't really care about the monetary aspect of it.
Yeah.
And if you do that as a major company like World of Warcraft or PoE, there is a financial cost associated with that, you know, rather than just like
development time. You probably postpone
also,
you know, the next league
because you have to have more staff. Like as you release, just from a technical standpoint, you have the release, so you have more staff on hand during the release to catch bugs, fix things faster, watching the server, watching the database. You know, you have more hands on it. And then if you release again mid-season, you have to keep those people on staff again, extra hours, weekends, nights for the releases to make sure that those releases go well. It's a cost association for video games when they do releases, and if they do live events and those kind of things. I love live events, right? And the problem is that it's money, right?
Right. And if you're not charging a monthly fee, most of those services and new offerings are to players that have already paid you, and you're not getting anything more out of them. Right. You know, that's one of the things like Helldivers. You know, I don't play the game at all anymore, but I pay attention to it because it's an interesting example of live service. At first, people thought it was done incredibly well, but now a lot of the sentiment has changed because they've been constantly tweaking and turning the knobs. So what was at one point a very good balance, and then they just kept changing things, and now it's in quite a disarray. And that's definitely something you have to be attentive of because they're not getting any more money out of people. You know, the players that are playing at this point, dedicated as though they bought the game once, and that's all the money Sony's getting.
Right. Yeah, and I think that touches on a wider topic that can apply to, you know, even PoE, but PoE is free to play, so that's a little different one. All the money they get is passion money from people like Matt or like me that literally are just kind of donating money to them because they like it, right? Because you get very little for the money. It doesn't really improve your gameplay much, right? So I'm always curious about how they do that with PoE, and they have a real company, and that it seems like they're probably not making bank. Like I can't imagine that they are. But like World of Warcraft and their ridiculous, you know, or Diablo 4, just say Blizzard, their monetization makes it feel greasy at this point, and it's just I'm not about that. Like they're milking as much money as possible at every turn, so that's becoming problematic. But understand, whether it's Magic, World of Warcraft, PoE, Hero Realms, it doesn't matter. Remember, these are all companies, right? They have people they employ and have to pay to make these things happen.
Yeah.
And it's a balance between, because all of this is a luxury. Let's not kid ourselves. Financial times are difficult with the inflation, cost of housing, cost of everything at this point. And it's not going to go backwards, folks. I was watching a show this week about the trends of finances in general. It doesn't matter what it is. Once prices go up, they almost never come back down. Right? Gas is one of the
charge
very
less
few.
for something people would and have paid more for?
Once they set a price, though, it's like a price memory. So that is now the cost. Bread is now $3 a loaf. I don't care if pre-pandemic it was $1.50 a loaf. It is now $3 a loaf. It's not going down below that ever again. Right? That is the new norm. Milk is $5 a gallon. Right? Gas is one of the things I don't know how that fluctuates, because it does. It's been as high as like $5 a gallon here. Now it's, $2.75, $3.33, depending on when it fluctuates. But most things, and that's going to include Magic, folks. It's going to include your World of Warcraft subscriptions. Once they go up and set the price point, it's not going back down, right?
Yeah.
But they have to keep paying their employees, right? If you want to continue to have a game. So we have to build that into our thinking about buying things, that it's not just the best cost for us.
And speaking of people who are thinking about buying things, it seems as though we have 7 out of 9 votes. People are in fact interested in Duskmourn.
Wow, that's surprising. That is very
78% of folks are they're down to clown.
Wow. So I'd like to see some comments then, if for those that voted in favor of Duskmourn, what is it about Duskmourn that appeals to you? Is it the artwork? Is it just something the three of us, happenstance, that we're just, with our differing views on so many things?
I've never seen Stranger Things. Is it because I missed out on that I don't care about this? Is it
I didn't even draw that connection.
1980s horror? I think this is like a huge throwback, and I think this is
okay. But as I've said probably 3 times now, just remove the kids and the show becomes 2 times better.
They're not kids anymore.
Why I don't have any.
They're just annoying kids. I just don't understand. The show is actually like a cool concept and a cool show. Just remove the kids. I just don't care about any of them.
Well, they've all grown up now.
Yeah, then you get X-Files.
I was gonna say, as the time goes on, they have to kind of grow up, because that's just how, unless they just replace them with new kids. But it's better that they're growing up, because then they're going to be less annoying.
And how many years has it been? It's been what, a good 3 years since
I don't know if if they're waiting that long to film, or if they've already filmed it. But
was the original.
I don't know what they're doing.
So,
but I mean, Pat, I would recommend watching it. It is a solid show.
Well, I think that we all have this problem. There is so much content out there, and
Solar God, I love you and your sorcery. I might buy some sorcery strictly because of Solar God. Semper Fidelis. Because Solar God, you have been a stout and loyal channel member for a very long time, and I appreciate that. So,
is it multiplayer? Could all 3 of us fumble through a game together?
No,
I don't know.
Not to my knowledge. I think it's just one.
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
But,
do it.
And you guys would hate playing against me. Like, you just would.
We'll go 2v1. We'll just play. We'll just pub stomp Bob.
It won't be hard. I'll be like, okay.
We don't even know how to play. I vaguely understand the general concept of the game. I know there's places you traverse, and like the places matter. Some are underground, some are above ground, some are water, and some are earth, probably. I don't know. It just does not look good. I've watched gameplay of it. I did not enjoy it, and I watched it of people that I enjoy watching play.
Honestly,
games.
I was a little confused. I'm like,
okay. Team Covenant is a channel that I watch play a lot of different TCGs, and they were the ones that have made me want to play some other games. Like, one of the ones recently was Ashes or Phoenix Realms Reborn or Phoenix Ashes Reborn. That game is they're how I even came about that game. And that game is very fun. Like, Pat, we should definitely play it. Bob, we should play it. You'll enjoy it. You roll dice.
You said it was similar to Destiny?
Yeah, similar to Destiny, where like you have a deck that you can do the pre-built decks. You can make your own if you want. The living
We
card games, you can buy everything, but there is a
We need to
PVE
teach Pat
version that I have not
Destiny.
played yet.
Ooh.
Well, I'll teach you Destiny when you're here. I think it's fun enough, and you didn't consider it like terribly difficult to wrap your head around, did you, Matt?
No, that's easy.
The biggest thing to get used to is the rolling dice, right? Because your resources and damage and everything is dynamic for the most part, right? Like
Yeah.
you might roll a big thing, you might not, right? So it's I like that sort of dynamic aspect to it, that it can level the playing field to a degree with difference in skill levels. If that makes sense, because some of it's going to be just, it's stuck to RNGesus, and hopefully it's good. So if Phoenix is that way, I'm down to try it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But we're getting close,
like I said,
folks. We're going to be switching to the member-only stream here in just a couple minutes. Do we have any more questions or concerns or, things that you want to hear from us in the next couple minutes here? In all things gaming, really. Kind of curious, with the releases that are coming up. I'm not hearing super hype either for Duskmourn, not hearing super hype for Foundations, which is coming out. And there was one more thing I heard them coming out with. I don't remember. Is it Jumpstart? Somebody was saying there's going to be a Jumpstart between now and the end of the year.
There's a Jumpstart built into Foundations.
Because I don't remember. There was something else that was like pre-end of year release, and I don't remember what, because it wasn't on the schedule. But I don't think Foundations was on the schedule for release this year.
It doesn't seem like it's November 15th as the official date.
So it doesn't seem like they're really truly building up to like a huge release for this winter. I have already started my Christmas shopping, folks. I have already gotten Sherry Vegas her first Christmas gift. Do it now. Start early for those loved ones, and it doesn't hurt as much financially. You're not sitting in November and December going, damn. That's
I'm agnostic, so I don't buy shit for anybody.
Bob, I've got... Yeah.
I'm agnostic as well, but I buy shit for everybody. I even buy stuff for Matt.
Bob, I've got you it's somewhat of a gag gift for whenever we see each other again.
Well, we're going to see each other for certain in October, folks. Stay tuned for what we're going to try to get done and try to give you special content for with the three of these knuckleheads getting together in person. It's a rare event even for us. So we'll try to make
we'll do it at least once a year now.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're on that path, but I think next year might be more of a Gen Con thing again.
Yeah,
and
same
I'm
deal.
Definitely going to Fugo de Chao if we go.
Shit, yeah. I mean, it's such a good service. Like, now that I know there's one in Boston, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna do that. Not terribly, like,
just don't order the lamb, and you'll be good to go.
I like lamb.
I'll tell you the best one was the garlic steak, which surprised me because I don't even know what kind of steak that was. That was so good. And notice that they only came around with that one time right at the very beginning. I kept waiting for it. They came around with the filet mignon a lot, which is good. But I honestly like the garlic steak, whatever the hell that was, the best out of everything that I put in my face.
And stuff with bacon.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's about it for us for this Saturday edition. If you are a member or if you want to become one real quick and join us for the member-only after show, we're going to make it a regular thing. And we're going to even announce, I think, in this after show, something that crossed my mind. And I think Pat was somewhat behind it this week. So there you go. There's a members-only secret release for member rewards. So we'll discuss that in the after show. But thank you.
It only takes $1
for joining. What's that?
I said it only takes $1. $1.
Right? It's not. Yeah, it shouldn't be bank breaking. So
$1, Bob.
We are. we're gonna sneak reveal that as a potential new member benefit. And we'll discuss that somewhat in the after show. Thank you everyone for showing up. Appreciate your time as always. Thank you, Matt and Pat, for having me tonight. I feel like I perked up after I got some sugar in me.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Hey, it's been fun. Until next week, take care, y'all. And then